I believe all the delegates, all the exhibitors, and everyone, our reputed guests have been here, have arrived. We shall be going ahead for a beautiful seminar. And also, before proceeding, I request you all to kindly please settle down, and we have to go ahead with the lamp lighting and inaugural. In the next couple of minutes, we shall be commencing our seminar. So I request one and all to kindly please gather and kindly please settle down. Our honorable guest will be doing the inaugural and the lighting ceremonial. Lighting of a ceremonial lamp, I request Mr. Sanjay Bhatia, Dr. N.C. Saha, and Mr. Purushottam Patel to kindly please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause, everyone? Yes, sir, please join us. Dr. Kotekar to please come ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I invite you all on the seminar of metal packaging. And ladies and gentlemen, as we have commenced this seminar and we have inaugurated, definitely let's go ahead with our speakers who will deliver a keynote and of course, yes, who will highlight about this seminar. So first up, I would like to call Mr. Sanjay Bhatia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my time now to give you a short introduction about Mr. Sanjay Bhatia. Mr. Sanjay Bhatia is the president of a Metal Container Manufacturers Association and managing director of Hindustan Tin Works Limited. He was the president of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the past 9 years. He has lots of experience and excellent knowledge in the metal packaging business. As the president of Mcma, Mr. Bhatia represents the members' pain points to the government and in many cases gets the concerned authorities to provide relief. Mr. Bhatia will further deliver the inaugural address of the seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause. Next up, I would like to call Professor Dr. N.C. Saha to please come up on the stage. I would also like to call Professor Dr. Prakash Kondekar to please come up on the stage. Thank you very much. You can have your seat, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to call Mr. Anirban Das Gupta to please come up on the stage as well. Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause. So we do have our honorable guest here on the dais, and it's my turn now to introduce them. Ladies and gentlemen, as I go ahead, you all have to give them a huge round of applause. So let's talk about Professor Dr. N.C. Saha. Professor Dr. N.C. Saha is an internationally acclaimed professional with 35 years of rich experience in the field of packaging science and technology. He was former director at Indian Institute of Packaging, IIP, the India's premier institute in packaging under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. He obtained Masters in Food Technology from Central Food Technology Research Institute, Mysore, PhD in Packaging Management. He's an alumnus of School of Packaging, Michigan State University, USA, as UNDP Fellow and University of Tehran for Advanced Program in Productivity Concepts and Tools as a Fellow of Asian Productivity Organization. He was also the Vice President of World Packaging Organization, Secretary General of Asian Packaging Federation, and board member of many government bodies. His illustrious career has been marked with several national and international milestones and accolades. Authored to 2 books in food packaging for IGNO, 1 book on packaging of fragrance for FFDC, Government of India. He has published many research papers and articles, Currently founder chairman of an NGO foundation for innovative packaging and sustainability. Presently visiting professor, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please welcome him with a huge round of applause? Also on the dais, we have Professor Dr. Prakash Kondekar, is a qualified doctor in homeopathy and Ayurveda, is director of Indian Institute of Naturopathy, senior advisor AFST Mumbai, and executive council member of National Center for Science Communicators. Dr. Kondekar is a fellow of Royal Society of Health, London, member of American Diabetic Association. He has presented many papers and conducted workshops in UK, USA, Germany, Mauritius, Singapore, UAE, Vietnam, Italy, Spain, and in India. In July 2018 and Jan 2021, World Education Congress, Dr. Kondekar received the Most Outstanding Professor Award. He will be speaking on very interesting topic, metal to nature. Can we have a huge round of applause? We have Mr. Anirban Das Gupta on the dais here with us. Mr. Anirban Das Gupta has been working with the Tin Plate Company of India Limited, TCIL, a subsidiary of Tata Steel Limited, for over 26 years. He has held positions in diverse functions in sales, marketing, production planning, business process, re-engineering, supply chain management, IT systems, and business excellence. Presently, he is Chief of Sales for domestic as well as overseas market. He joined TCIL in 1997 after graduating in engineering from the University of Pune. He further completed his MBA in marketing from Calcutta University. He had been a visiting faculty on metal packaging at the Indian Institute of Packaging, Mumbai. He is also involved with CII, Eastern Region, and is a member of Defense Industry Linkage Subcommittee. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause? All the way up to our honorable guests. Okay, perfect, sir.
Good morning, friends. Dr. N.C. Saha, Mr. Anirban, Professor, my other office bearers and senior colleagues from the industry, Mr. Purushottam Patel and O.P. Agarwal, and friends from the industry. Good morning. On behalf of Metal Container Manufacturer Association, I welcome all of you to this program. We have an esteemed panel of speakers who will share details of why metal packaging is the most eco-friendly packaging. Mcma is a trade body comprising of metal container manufacturers and traders looking after the needs of consumers, creating awareness of sustainable packaging, and taking up the issue with the government. First, COVID, followed by BIS regulations, created some difficult times for the metal packaging industry. This further made metal packaging a little more expensive. The packaging industry is growing around 12 to 15%, and the sector has the potential to create employment opportunities in the country. The promotion of domestic players and setting up of the packaging industry in every district on the lines of one district, one product initiative to create jobs at the local level. Packaging industry can help bring agriculture products to the market, which will increase farmers' income and cut farm production losses. There is a tremendous product loss. About 30% is the losses of the food before it reaches the consumer or the market. So there's a huge potential for the processed food industry to take place and food processing to take place. What is being said is that what IT has done for urban India, food processing will do that for rural India. So that's something which has to happen. Sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. Eco-friendly packaging includes packaging that is easy to recycle and made from the material manufactured using minimum impact on energy consumption on national resources. Eco-friendly packaging is also made from the recycled materials. Refuse what you do not need. I'll repeat, refuse what you do not need, reduce what you do need, reuse what you consume, and recycle what you cannot refuse, reduce or reuse. Eco-friendly products can significantly reduce waste generation and promote the reuse and recycling of waste products. Eco-friendly simply means earth-friendly. Eco-friendly items and materials are defined as being not environmentally harmful. In short, eco-friendly products help the earth not to cause it harms. One way to reduce waste generation is to ensure that resources and materials remain in the economy for as long as possible. Metal packaging also has one of the highest recycling rate, which is more than 80%. The metal packaging industry has put in place a range of initiatives aimed at significantly reducing greenhouse gas emissions, increasing reliance on renewable energy sources such as wind and solar power. Over the past few decades, the global packaging industry has enjoyed healthy growth, supported by several mega trends which will continue to shape the business. And we expect that two of them, sustainability and digital, particularly e-commerce, will create significant challenges for the industry leaders. 3 eras were identified by McKinsey and Company, which has been characterized by major changes in consumer behavior. The first era is 2000 to 2009, when there was a substrate shift changes. The era saw continued increase of flexible packaging and rigid plastic to replace rigid such as metal, paper, and glass. Era 2 was 2009 to 2020, with changing the face of the consumer. This era began with uncertainty and disruption of the great financial crisis. Towards the end of the period, awareness of sustainability rose significantly. And the era 3, 2020 onwards, which is going on, which is sustainability and digital transformation. The era of the transformational changes is upon us, and the pace of change is accelerating rapidly. Sustainability and digital, particularly e-commerce, are the mega trends shaping in this era. Packaging industry is still in the early stages of digitization. Further, it is expected to become a clear priority and an important value creation lever, particularly in the current context of volatile raw materials markets and increased protectionism and trade policies. Change often emerges gradually and then accelerates suddenly. CEOs of packaging companies must treat the higher volatility of their markets as a new normal in this era of transformational change. Technological improvements in packaging techniques have led to the introduction of next-generation packaging. Next-generation packaging provides features such as traceability and offers product quality information. It is beneficial in tracing shipments to distant locations and ensures minimum damage to the package material. QR codes and other things which are there. Without taking any more time, I'll leave the floor open for other distinguished speakers to detail their views on the eco-friendly and sustainable metal packaging. We also have amongst us a distinguished banker who would like to assist the MSMEs in the room to access funds for their growth. Thank you very much for your time, and may I invite Dr. Saha, who is the expert and who has spent more than 35 years in this line, and although he's expert on plastic side, but we are trying to convert him. Since I know him for the last 30 years, I am also trying to put metal into his mind, and as his position as Director, Indian Institute of Packaging, we had been little successful, so I hope that continues the message. Please, welcome.
So very good morning. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Metal Container Manufacturers Association, MCMA, and especially to Mr. Sanjay Bhatia, who has been, well, I have been in fact associated with him for the last 30 years. When I started my journey in packaging after my MTech in food technology from CFTRI, that's way back in 1987 when I joined at Indian Institute of Packaging. Mr. Bhatia was also with me at IIP Delhi as a chairman and of course at IIP Bombay as a chairman. Today was a very hectic day, or I should say it is not a right day for me to come over here because I am also associated with one of the NGO called Foundation for Innovative Packaging and Sustainability. It's called FIPS, and we have a huge conference tomorrow at Hotel Lalit. And 300 people have already registered, and tomorrow and day after tomorrow, the 2 days conference, 25 companies has supported, and all the association, packaging association, including your MCMA, has supported. In fact, Mr. Bhatia will also be in the inaugural function tomorrow. And the most attraction of this conference tomorrow, this is the first time in India we have thought of it that we talk about eco-friendly and sustainability. But if you really think about a very holistic manner in packaging industry, one should understand called responsible packaging. Because the pollution or environmental, whatever we say, the littering due to packaging, it cannot be stopped and then each one of us become responsible. That's why we thought the term, the connotation should be responsible packaging. We said in brief form called RESPAC. The last year we launched it at Delhi Lalit in September. But this was about 200 people. But this year it's much more because with us, National Institute of Design, Government of India, then Terry University, both the institute have joined. And they want to promote it called Award for Responsible Packaging. So tomorrow there is an award function. And we have got more than 240 entries and about 52 companies, mostly from FMCG, brand owner will be coming tomorrow evening to receive the award. That we say as a FIPSA award. And happy to say a few of the metal container people also got the award, including Hindustan Tinuak, Shetron, Nikita Container, many they have got it. Our whole idea was the responsible packaging. When we say that, that should be mission. People should realize that we cannot be an isolated called paper or plastic. It need to be, everyone should be, think of it that how you become a responsible. Nevertheless, today, because of Bhatia Sahab, I couldn't say no to him. I am here, but after my session, I'll rush to the Hotel Lalit because today there is so much work to get ready for tomorrow. Our tomorrow's chief guest is Professor M.M. Sharma, the Padma Vibhushan, who is the chief guest tomorrow morning. There are 28 speakers are lined up, 10 panelists and almost 11 sessions. So you can imagine about 54 people are on the dais tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Those who have not registered, you can just register it. We have given a very discounted price for MCMA. I think Venu has already returned, so please join us tomorrow. And think of it, because this is not from, it's an NGO, we are trying to promote this subject called responsible packaging. Coming back to this subject, I am here. I thought before I go to metal packaging, let's have a few ideas about give you what is the world packaging scenario now. We realize that in a packaging industry, it's not really on the nascent stage today. It is quite matured, and you find in world leader, the last year data, he said it has reached to almost US dollar in $1025 billion, and employing more than 5 million, it's only in the organized segment who are talking in the packaging industry. More than 200,000 industry which are organized segment. You talk about Asia, Europe, US and Latin America is working. But the most important we find on the third largest segment of the packaging consumption in the Asia Pacific. The Asia Pacific we find the third largest, and it's growing about over 3 to 5% of the growth of the packaging industry is going. All over the world, if you think about the different segment, or IT segment, or railway segment, or power segment, packaging is considered to be the third largest segment as per the Ernst & Young has told that. So this is one of the most important industry globally, which has been recognized. I have been associated with our packaging industry for last 35 years, as Mr. Bhatia said. I was in the World Packaging Organization as a vice president and secretary at Asian Packaging Federation, and roam around 48 countries, and what I saw that India is not back. We are much more ahead in terms of package design and the packaging material innovation. So if you say the global share is called Asia Pacific is coming around 38% packaging consumption, which is the largest, followed by you find on Europe is 28%, America is 22%, Middle East and rest of the world. That goes how much is the potential of this industry on packaging industry. You talk about the consumption, as Sanjay Bhatia said that metal industry has to grow. That's true because globally find that paper and paperboard still on the lead, it's about 34%, but the rigid and flexible plastics, 27 and 10 together, it comes around 37% consumption, is much more than the paper. And then glass is 11%, and beverage can, because it is only showing the data, only the can industry is growing, not the metal is coming in other segment. On the product-wise, you find the total size is around 2022. Last year was 1025. It's growing at the rate of around 3 to 5% annual growth in globally. Around 1 to 2.5 will come by 2024. But the most important what we find about the food and beverage, this together itself is come around 56% consumption of packaging, and that's the area where the metal packaging plays a big role because you are coming on the food and processed food and a beverage. Pharma segment is around 5% and cosmetics around 3% and of course the other product. So this slide gives an overall picture that where we are and how really our metal packaging industry should grow. Even if it's a global data, that there is a research, market research, it says that the rigid packaging and the flexible packaging, though we say the flexible packaging, which leads about mainly three components. One is the paper, the flexible polymer or the plastics, and the aluminum foil. Versus if you talk about the rigid, tin metal container comes under the rigid. We talk on the rigid, it of course, the primary and secondary, including a corrugated box and so on, all comes under the rigid. That find that globally in 2021, it was US dollar 198.9 billion US dollar, and which is projected by 2028, the rigid packaging alone, it will reach to around 274.32 US dollar the billion. That shows that how the rigid packaging is consumption going. I can tell you why this trend is changing, that all because of the banning of the single-use plastic. The single-use plastic, because of the density is less, and as a result it's difficult for collection. I don't say that this is a bad material like Bhatia have said that I am pro to plastics. It's not that. Plastic, the consumption is too much. If you look at about packaging consumption, 60% goes to plastic. Even day before yesterday, I think today is 5th, we have a World Environment Day that the whole page was talking about, Economic Times was talking about flexible plastic. It takes so much consumption and so much garbage is created. All because of the victimization has come to the flexible packaging. Reason is, it's a very light in weight, its density is less, it's very difficult to collection. So if you say that flexible plastic is bad, the answer is not bad, it's to the how to manage those plastics, but we are unable to collect it, segregate it, and really recycle it. But on the contrary, the rigid packaging has got an advantage because this is a material which is very rigid, it's very easy to collect. So that once you can collect it, segregate it, you can recycle it. That could be the change what we find that people are now shifting is going on. People are really thinking from flexible to the rigid side. One of the important aspects is come the collectability. The collectability in the rigid is very easy as compared to the flexible packaging. Of course, in plastics, I'm not telling you, in the plastics also people are under tremendous pressure because most of my students who are working in the brand owner, almost 10,000 students from IIP, they're all talking about tomorrow, almost 25 brand owners are present tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Everybody's problem is that what to do with the EPR, the extended producer responsibility. Because they're thinking that either is a single layer polymer or a single family polymer, but all these things are not really applicable for rigid packaging. That's the benefit, and metal being a rigid packaging, that's one of the advantage. We also find globally, food and beverage industry, that's another study was done by data. He said that by 2028, the rigid packaging, the food and beverage industry is really growing. These are all giving that how really we should get excited. The industry should think of it, where we are going, wherever today. Metal packaging, if you say globally, there are the trends because the rapid shifts from sustainable packaging solution. There is no doubt about that metal packaging is the more sustainable material. It's a metal, it goes back. And if you say, someone said the circular economy, that's one of the best example of the circular economy. That's the way you find the trend. The driver is wide availability of metal as a raw material for packaging. Of course, in India also now JSW has come, Tata Tin Plate Steel. We have enough resources available. and increasing use of high corrosion resistance. They are also working that how best, because the metal packaging, the only problem is the corrosion problem. If you can get rid of that corrosion, but another important aspect, I'll talk my few slides about the coating. The coating becomes another big problem, like we are talking about epoxy resin coating, the BPA and all. If these two things can be erased, the metal packaging no one can touch, because this is one of the best packaging media, I should say. We have a restraint. One is the high trade tariff of the raw material. I'm sure Mcma is working on that. They're trying to restrict the China's import should be stopped. That way you can say the Atmanirbhar Bharat or Make in India, what you can do. Opportunities is huge on metal packaging. We find rising use of recycled packaging material and increasing capacity for recycling steel group. When I talk about recycling, the plastic people are all the time they're thinking that I'm on 10% PCR or 30% PCR, because FSSI has allowed only 30% PCR. I am in the BIS committee, many are members are here, I am chairing 3-4 committees as a chairman. There we are talking that FSSI, that's a statutory body, I am also FSSI committee, we are talking PCR can be used only 30%, not for food. They have only allowed PET container they have allowed. They say bottle to bottle can go, but that too you have to take a certification, your migration value, everything you have to submit, then only you can do. Interestingly, for metal packaging, there is nothing called 30 or 10, it's 100%. So that's your advantage. What I say that opportunity is tremendous, because you are 100% PCR can go back. If you are using a plain can, not having a coating or a lacquer, then you have not a problem. Take back, again, you can be used, recycle, melt it and go back. That's the opportunity what we find in the globally is an opportunity coming for metal packaging. Indian packaging industry, if you look at about 1,000 billion US dollar, ours is only 3.3 billion US dollar. The Indian scenario, this is projected about 13% industry packaging growth, and the steady growth we find the last few years. Even COVID, all of you are experienced that COVID time, all segment has been slowed down, the entertainment segment, the textile everywhere, except packaging. The packaging was considered an essential commodity item and it was really growing. And that way you find that packaging industry will still grow. In India, if you look at the breakup, the rigid 22 and flexible 18, in globally 37% plastic. But in India, 40% plastic. Though we say a lot of hue and cry about that, plastic is bad and people are really working to that. But now all the FMCG company, they are going toward that how best they can make lighter single layer material. So what to do, how we can go back? We are discussing, Ramanathan here, then even JSW, I had a meeting with Sajjanji. We are talking that if you really want to compete with the plastic, you have to go down your thickness. You have to go down your weight. Otherwise, you cannot compare it, because you can't do a price comparison. Because the plastic people, they are doing so much research, so much R&D, because they are coming lighter and lighter material. And what is the area the R&D is required in metal packaging? Otherwise, this material has got a tremendous opportunity what we can do. Here you find the printed carton, which costs about duplex board carton, corrugated box, we've had 17%. Again, the metal we find very less, it's come around only 6% container. If you talk about in Indian scenario on the product segment, we find household in 9%, milk dairy 11%, convenience food about 9%, snack foods, this exhibition we find 9%, pharma, personal care. So food products overall we find altogether 61% goes to food. And that's why I say the food is the only area, as Badias have said, that for rural market, you think of it, that's only the food industry. And packaging will survive based on the food industry. 61% consumption in food, 13% in pharma, 7% tobacco, personal care in 10%, and household product over 9%. So that's the scenario what I find packaging consumption in Indian scenario. Per capita consumption, if you say, that is true, because India is much lower. Though we say we have done even plastic, metal, paper, but our consumption only 10.5 kg. As compared to US is around 109 kilo. Why the reason? Because you find in India, even on the food product, many food products still sold in the market without packet. A segment called fish and meat products and poultry. That's, you forget about your Venky's chicken and all, it's only 1 to 2% goes to the urban. Local market, all the poultry market is all open market without packet. You talk about egg market is open. Fruits and vegetable, open. So there no packaging consumption is going. As a result, our per capita consumption is coming only 10.5. On the contrary, in US, everything in packed. So more packed, because they don't shy away that I cannot collect back. But we are really thinking that if I use more and more packaging, it will create me more garbage. Who creates? You create and you come back. That's why you need to be responsible. But we find 10.5 kg. Overall, our per capita consumption is much less. Packaging industry, the PT part, in India, 22,000 packaging industry, 85% goes to MSME. The MSME industry has a lot of restriction, lot of limitation, I should say. They can't invest money for R&D, they can't invest money for the QC. When the Bureau of Indian Standards is talking about quality product, they find difficulty how to set up a lab. So this is the difficulty it's not only metal, paper, plastic, corrugated box, everybody, MSME segment is looking. I'm talking overall, 85% comes under the MSME segment. Now, Indian packaging market, if you say that, 21 to 2027, it says that the CAGR growth should be around 26.1%. This not only metal, the overall packaging, how it will grow. If you say that globally, North India, East Africa, but in India, key player, if you look at our, the Amcor that's not an Indian company, then Amcor is coming from Australian company. There's a plastic ball corporation in India, Crown, Genpack, Graham, Tetra Pak, AGA Glass Pack, Pakistan, which is again on paper carton, SL is a tube, Pearl, Pidamol Glass, Hindustan Tinwag is here. So these are the few companies which have been listed as per the Mcma market research, that these are the leading company altogether the packaging industry who are taking the lead how to take it forward to 2027. The user segment we find, the food, again the food is 45%. If you look at the pie chart, food is 75%, followed by pharma, then personal and hot beverage. So in general, if you go on the other side, the beverage packaging, 32% is going to the beverage packaging, and which goes to your metal packaging. That way the metal packaging has a big potential. The topic what we are called metal is a eco-friendly packaging. So I was wondering how to start on metal packaging. There are a lot many confusing terms. Somebody say eco-friendly, somebody say responsible. We are talking responsible. Someone says sustainability. But after all, what is our concern? If someone understands what is our concern, I'm sure in the August gathering I can tell you the concern is, as per the UN published report, it says that today the world population is about 7.2 billion. And 7.2 billion, India itself is 1.4 billion. If you look at India and China, we are almost half. And rest of the enter the world. The UN say that by 2050, your world population from 7.2, it will reach to 10 billion. The problem is, 2050, today we are 23, after 27 years, when the world population is bulged, it goes almost 10 billion, your planet, the resource, what are the resources? Soil, water, air, atmosphere, all are fixed. See, if the resources are fixed, which you say the natural resource, if the natural resource is fixed, the population is just going up, what will happen to next generation? That's the whole problem. The United Nations have thought of it. It's quite late. They should have thought of it 50 years back, but they have thought of it now. That 2050, it will be huge chaos in the whole world. So we need to be careful. That's why they say, think about today, not for you, for your next to next generation. So when you say sustainable packaging, the term has come that the packaging material, which should not have any harmful effect for the future generation. It says the terminology says sustainable packaging is a material which will meet the needs for today and not to make any harmful effect for tomorrow. So that's called sustainable packaging. Now to meet this sustainable packaging, people are going for eco-friendly, which is called environmentally friendly. In plastic people, I don't know anyone here, I can say very boldly, there are many terms people are confusing. Something called biodegradable, oxo-biodegradable. These all terminology is creating confusion. If you really ask me, you cannot get any published books which takes that the plastic can be degraded. No. It says that the paper degradation takes, what is degradation or microbial degradation? Degradation means it gets disintegrate and it has to mix up with the soil. Soil has got a bacteria which will eat away. The paper degradation takes almost 50 years. Plastic takes 1,000 years. So how do you think about that it will become degradable? There is a Bureau of Indian Standard, one test method has been prescribed. When I was the director in industrial packaging, I also invested and started the testing method. After doing the test, I could realize that there are a lot of flaws in the method. What does the method say? You take the plastic film, which is considered to be biodegradable. So take the film, put into a glass jar, and then at a particular climate, that means the chamber at a specific temperature and specific pressure, you maintain it. Take the soil, which is a particular soil, you take it and inoculate a bacteria, allow the bacteria to eat away the plastics. Got my point, what I'm telling? That's the method say. You take a glass jar, take a soil, bentonite soil they have prescribed, so that soil, you inoculate a bacteria, put the biodegradable plastic film, allow it that how much bacteria is eating the plastics and how much carbon dioxide is collected. And then calculated that this is degraded. Now, this will give a good dynamics and all, and we do the test and all. Question comes here, when we say the material is biodegradable, the soil to Goregaon and the soil at Andheri is different. The condition of this place, that condition is different. The bacteria, what you are inoculating from outstation, this soil does not have any bacteria. That soil might have a bacteria. So if I really say that a material, packaging material is biodegradable, it should be any open air, you just throw it, it should get degraded. It's not happening. So this method, what we have done, is a very standard prescribed method. The Bureau of Indian Standard has done it. Many laboratories doing, even at IIP, I also started it when I was there. But again, I'm telling you, there are certain limitations because based on the test method, no one can challenge that material is 100%. How? Because you are doing a specific climatic condition, mind it. So everywhere you see, but people are thinking, so that way people are making lot of myth, lot of confusion and all. The question is very clear, the material, if you cannot do biodegradable, now what the latest notification, the Pollution Control Board, the Central Pollution Control has done, they say the polymer is not bad. The whole of the world, lot of development has happened. So you can use a single family. I can use polyethylene, polypropylene, both are coming hydrocarbon, polyolefin group, which is easily recyclable. I can use polypropylene, polypropylene. But I can't use polyethylene and polyester, both are melting point is different, that become a composite structure. So they say don't use multi-layer. You can use single layer, single family, the best material in plastic. That's the notification say. And all the brand owner, even tomorrow they will be talking, they are all hiding on that, how best I can have a single material. Your challenge is there, which you don't have, plastic people have. You have a polyethylene, which is a very good moisture barrier, very poor oxygen barrier. Polyester, very good oxygen barrier, very poor moisture barrier. So you have a potato chips, you need both. You have to sandwich it. Now they are trying to have, can I have a single layer polyethylene with moisture barrier? Can I improve upon the OTR? I have to give a coating. But that you don't have because you are a metal container. You are 100% barrier to oxygen, gas, aroma, light, everything. But your problem is different because you have a weight is high, cost is goes up and all this. So what I'm trying this comparison, because if you look at about all packaging material, this packaging material, I feel that this is one of the best packaging material provided you take care of the other thing. So eco-friendly, what I'm taking the material which will not have any harmful effect to the environment. So it includes packaging that is easy to recycle and made from a material manufactured using minimal impact on energy consumption or natural resources. That's another thing. Metal container, of course, if I go back to the metal industry, the kind of energy they use it, if they can do a sustainable thing, the reusable, renewable energy, they can do it, then this becomes more sustainable process. Like glass industry today struggling because the glass melting point is 1500 degrees centigrade. Paper industry struggling. To make 1 ton paper, you need 50 ton of water, 50 liter. 1 kg paper, you need 100 liter of water. So again, if you talk about LCA, life cycle analysis, that does not become sustainable. Metal will not become sustainable until you have a renewable energy in the processing stage. So everywhere we find there are a big challenge for the technocrat, and they have to think of it, how do I make the top to bottom, the end of the line, entire thing I can make sustainable process. Now we find packaging is made from recycled material. Yes, if it is recycled material, that's all called eco-friendly. It's commonly referred as a sustainable material or a green packaging, what we say. So it has got a lot of advantage, as I mentioned. It has got a very high mechanical strength as compared to the rigid plastic, because I can only compare metal rigid as a rigid plastic. So if I say that impact resistance metal is very high, plastic rigid has a problem called ESCR test, environmental stress crack. You don't have the ESCR problem. So that's how if I compare it. It is a very durable, longer shelf life to food. We know the shelf life is more. Different shapes of container, you can make it. Hygienic, excellent printability, no chemical reaction if it is a plain can. If it is a lacquered, you have a problem. 100% recyclable, does not make any harmful effect, and considered to be a green packaging, is truly eco-friendly packaging. And we have a tin container, aluminum container, we have a tin-free steel, TFS, and we also have a GI-coated steel, what the JSW is making. And we have a different format. We can have a round can, we can have a rectangular, we can have a drum, barrel, plastic, aluminum beverage can, aluminum extruded tube, aerosol can. It's all coming different format of packaging, all comes on a metal container. Now, what are the limitations? Let's concentrate here, because once we can arrest this limitation, then you are the best person. Poor chemical stability. When you talk about dangerous goods, the metal is not that stable. There are some of the chemicals which starts reacting with the tin. So that's one big issue, like a metal, a chemical called pyridine. Pyridine is a chemical which is very much used for your Vicks inhaler and everywhere. So that starts reacting with the GI drum. Prone to corrosion, we have requires anti-rust coating unit, poor resistance to acid and alkali, heavier as compared to the plastic rigid container, and lacquered coating with epoxy resin. Might have a presence of BPA, because bisphenol A, which is a carcinogenic, and opaque in nature. And I'm very happy HTW have come out with I really like that container with a transparent thing, and that he has given a combination, which I always say is a hybrid pack. He can't say the rigid, it's a rigid comes in flexible, because you can increase your transparency part furthermore instead of sleek. That becomes a fantastic packaging material and consumer-friendly operating system. So these are all the limitations what we find comes on the metal container. What are the opportunity? We find high demand. People are looking for alternative to single-use plastic. So that becomes one of the great opportunity. High demand of recyclable material. You are recyclable. Government is trying to go for a 3R concept. Reuse, recycle, and reduce. So there also you find you are a recyclable. FMCG company looking for alternate. They say, give me anything cost effective, we are ready to accept it. Consumer conscious to the same planet, as I say, 10 billion people, it has gone to the grassroots level. Everybody knows I need to protect my environment. And high demand of hygienic fruit, again, metal is the best thing, because you are having a pasteurized food product, is already cooked food. That way you have a better advantage. Restriction on import, of course, government is trying to restrict from China. And opportunity for expansion of metal container to other application. Wherever you find you can enter, that becomes one of the huge opportunity. We have a few challenges. One of the challenges, as I said, that is a heavy tear weight. Our tear weight of the container, that starts with my base plate. The base plate reduction should be there. And that I think Ramanathan is here. JSW has to work. Tata Timblade, who are actually raw material, like Reliance is doing the raw materials. You make raw material. Your raw material need to be reduced so that you can reduce the thickness of the coating. But it is only very 1.2 mm or 0.56 mm, what we say as per V.A.EXHIBITION standard. But you need to reduce the thickness of the base plate, because that would help you to have a lesser unit cost. Unit weight is very high. Limited R&D facility, as all of you know, very few company has got R&D facility. Upgradation of conversion technology, but here again a problem, because 85% is MSME, and aggressive marketing and promotion. This I'll give and highlight to you. Metal industry has to think of it, how do I promote? The way my other man is doing, like probably polyplastic industry, how do I promote it? You have to go more and more on promotion, very aggressive manner if you really, and I'm telling you again, this is the best opportunity. Maybe another 3 years' time, don't think that polymer industry is keeping quiet. Because I am around everyone. I know that they are doing aggressive research. And they are all coming out with the solution. All coming out with the solution. They are coming out with the solution. Single polymer will give you OTR, WBTR, oxygen barrier, light barrier, everything. So then you miss the chance. So this is a chance, maybe another 2 to 3 years you have to do it. Innovative design metal container to be developed and quality control facility for product package compatibility. That's very important because each container cannot have suitable for same product. Different product, acidic food, alkaline food, different product, a different need. So accordingly you have to do a product package compatibility. Testing facility container to be enhanced and introduction of metal container instead of plastic container. That's why I find you have a very challenges. So what is the way forward? The way forward is all the stakeholders of metal packaging need to play an active role of promotion. And I think Bhatia Sahab is the torchbearer, is thinking that how do I do it? Metal container, MCMA is trying, he is giving. Even last 2 years, MCMA, we are also promoting. Because I feel as a responsible packaging, it's not only plastic, paper, and that's why tomorrow's conference, 7 association is supporting us. Everybody thinks paper, Mcma is supporting. They feel I am also responsible. Everybody is thinking we need to be responsible. And state-of-the-art innovation center to be established to develop a lower thickness of tin plate with lower coating of coating. This is a very key area because that will game changer, I should say. It will play the whole thing that how really are compatible with the rigid plastic. More R&D work to be carried out to develop innovative natural material. The coating should not be plastic based. Today, very peculiar in this country, you find the paper cups, disposable cups, is made from ITC paperboard. The inside coating, which is a Michelman and all, ultimately the product is plastic coat. So I am working with Embassy of Netherlands. We have developed some container from paddy stubbles. I'm working with IIT Delhi. We are trying to develop a coating. It's from the plant enzyme. So this is a bio-based coating material. That becomes biodegradable. Otherwise, if you have again polymer-based coating, you have the same problem. It cannot be a biodegradable. State-of-the-art testing facility, as I said, that to carry out product package compatibility is very important. Collaborative research activity with the foreign university, let's say what the other countries are doing, more understanding about the national and international standard. Because MSB industry feels that ISI standard, BIS standard or ASTM standard is a burden. I take it as a boon. Because if you follow the standard, you yourself will get equipped and you can upgrade your technology. And because I am involved with BIS for last almost 30 years and I know how the standards we are doing, we are trying to harmonize with the international standards. Poor system of collection of post-consumer. We say that 100% recyclable and all, but is there any mechanism that it collected back to the plant? That needs to be established properly. Then only you can claim that I am a 100% circular economy product. That's one area, is a way forward, think of it. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. What I thought, my knowledge I can share with you. If any specific question, we can say, yeah. Thank you.
Please begin.
You have been bombarded with a lot of information by Professor Shah, and he made my talks easy. So I will talk about, in fact, the topic is metal to nature, but I should talk nature to metal to nature. That will be my topic because I will be talking with my experience of last 70 years because that time I was in schools and we were using the whatever naturally available packaging material for our tiffins, and those were the things like banana leaves or areca nut leaves and then some muslin cloth. Those were the packaging materials for our tiffins those days in 70 years before I was talking about. So packaging is important from the point of view of food because I must congratulate all of you. Today is the Food Safety Day and I must congratulate, take safe food and be safe. And that is the slogan for this Food Safety Day. So when I was talking about the pre-schooling in my own village that time, small village. And we used to have that tiffin, in the sense, whatever we used to have, through natural packaging material. So packaging is important from the point of view of your health. If food is good, then your health also will be good. And you must have noticed it during the pandemic also, though it was not directly related to this food, but pandemic we could get substantial food in packaged form, or maybe in the house itself, depending upon the availability. So when you are consuming the food there itself, there is no need of having any specific packaging. But when we take it outside, then of course it is needed. So banana leaves were the primary packaging material in those days, and I think future also will be of banana leaves or arachidonic leaves, and that has been started not only as a packaging material but also the serving material, like your plates, spoons, or even other utensils, which will be degradable, biodegradable, and also useful from the point of view of cost. I will say in 1800, that is first beginning of the 18th century, on 1810, the tin plate has entered into our packaging material. That is the beginning. But tin means it was not only aluminum, but it was steel that time, and containers were made out of steel, and initially those were plain cans, then OTS cans of course, then plastic coated or coated cans, laminated cans were used. And in 1957 the aluminum came into existence. Aluminum tin plate started using by these plastic manufacturers, and then food industry could use those tin plates there. So when we talk about the disposable cans, of course Professor Shah has talked about that and how we can make use of that and what is the future of that. But my opinion is that instead of having packing material of such stretch like metals, we can try to reduce the use of containers, plastic or metal, whatever, and try to go for the natural packaging material. So in between there was the entry of the earthen pots, and nowadays also those earthen pots have been used. On Earth Day I was in Udaipur, that time I have seen those earthen pots over there being used for, particularly for water and other food like curd or even some sweets or mithai they have been using, and it works because it is easily disposable packaging material. Of course there is no leakage, safe cooling water bottle, ideal for summer season. So those are the benefits. Then banana leaves have been used for packaging material as an innovative packaging, and particularly in the southern states, these banana leaves are being used on large scale, and that is what I think that is the future of the packaging industry in nature. That is awesome packaging material for banana leaves and replacement for other things. So packaging the future, perfect natural packaging they say, and of course fresh banana leaves, also dehydrated or dried banana leaves. Those could be used as a packaging material. And it could be used for many food items, not only for the prepared food or convenient food, but also for the food which could be used, which has shelf life of about 2 to 3 days, in spite of those natural packaging. And that could be the future of the packaging material. I cannot say industry. It is packaging material, and that will be good for our Save the Environment slogan of the Prime Minister of India. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that valuable information. Thank you so much.